I think folklore had always been a very important subject for YIVO from its inception in 1925 in Vilna. And I think that, and it was also very, very important to the Language and Culture Atlas of Ashkenazi Jews. I think it was so highly valued because there was a high value placed on everyday people, ordinary people, their everyday lives, and the culture created by the masses. So that not only was there a premium played on Yiddish literature, Yiddish theater, what you'd call high culture, but there was an incredible appreciation for folk culture. And that was true from the very, very beginning, because YIVO was always, it was a people's university. It was always an institution that depended on a network of collectors, of amateur collectors, and that valued the Yiddish language as a language that was spoken. That meant that even though YIVO wanted to create a standard language, Klal Yiddish, and a standard orthography, standard spelling, to in essence give YIVO the dignity that other languages had by having, if you will, a standard language, a literary language. It also valued enormously the richness of the language as regional dialects. And it valued the language as a language that was really truly spoken. And it valued the artistry of the spoken language in the mouths of ordinary people. And there was always, folklore was largely part of the section on philology. So there was a division which is very European between, if you will, spiritual culture and material culture. Spiritual culture meaning essentially folk beliefs, custom, language, that which doesn't necessarily express itself in a physical object. And material culture would be objects, architecture, dress, things of that kind. So YIVO was actively collecting folklore. They developed a whole set of questionnaires. They published them in the Yiddish von YIVO. They published them in the Literarische Blätter. They sent them out as flyers. They even created an aspirantur program in the 30s for training a new generation of academics, that is, providing them with something they could never get from university. And quite a number of them were themselves folklore. So they were interested in folklore. And I think it was always important to YIVO. It was about cultural creativity on a very, very large scale. And it was also about the unique creation of Jews in the very place where they lived. So it was an affirmation. It was a way of saying that Jews have lived in Eastern Europe and in Poland for a millennium, and they have created something very unique here that could only have been created here. Language, culture, and that it was a collective creation. It wasn't only the creation of some brilliant, genius writers and artists, but it was, if you will, the genius of a people, and that they created a language and they created a culture in that language, and that was something to be cherished and to be treated with dignity and respect. And so I think that folklore, in the sense of the creativity of ordinary people in their everyday lives, was something that was recognized from the very beginning as very important to the YIVO project.